St. Paul was an interesting person. He was a Pharisee. He was a doctor of the law, actually, and a very avid Jew. And when he saw the Christians starting to grow as a group, he sought to wipe them out and was known as a persecutor of the Jews. He even got warrants and was on his way to Damascus to arrest and get some of these terrible Christians that were attacking his Jewish faith. And on that road, he met Jesus. And his life was never the same after that. He learned to become a Christian, and in a short time started to even preach as a Christian. When he went to Jerusalem, the Christians shunned him. They were afraid of him. And it took a while before they accepted him. Yet they did accept him eventually. Yet Paul, in his preaching, as we noticed, went out to the rest of the Roman world and preached to the Gentiles, because always in the back of his mind, the Jews were a little bit fearful of him when he was around. That brings us to the third reading, the vine and the branches. Christ is that vine. The branches are us. And in those, we know that the vine only grows in the roots, and the vine and the branches have to be healthy. They have to be able to receive air, and then they bear fruit. And on a vine, they have to have air, water. The branches can't have one that some reason or other becomes diseased. And so it is within the church and within us. It's relationships that vine is talking about. Our relationship to Christ, our relationship to each other. Whatever we do affects not only ourselves, it affects everybody else. It affects the vine, it affects our relationship with Jesus too. Everything does. And this is the way we should live our life, realizing that to produce fruit, we try to increase and produce good relationships with everybody and each other. The story of vine and branches is not something that I don't think any of us are really farmers and understand completely what it is to tend to a vine and tend to a farm and realize that you have to weed and all the work that's involved. But living and being a Christian involves that kind of work daily, every day, working at ourselves, working at being good neighbors and good friends to each other. That way we can follow in the steps of Christ, who told us to love one another as he has always loved all of us.